Hey guys, my name is Aditya. I run a six-figure social marketing agency, and today I'm going to show you how I was able to sign my first client at the age of 15. So essentially, this is a part video. If you haven't watched the previous part about how I maximize outreach, this video is going to be useless because I'm going to go through the outreach methods that got me my first client, but without keeping in mind of the four pillars to maximizing outreach, this would be useless. And if you haven't watched the maximizing outreach, I recommend you watch the way you can pick out your niche, your service, as well as your solution and your offer, because using this problem-based solution framework is going to be very easy for you to find a niche as well as a service to make sure that whatever offer you put in place will always work and will put you competitive in the market, right? And obviously the reason why outreach methods won't work without maximizing outreach, without these four pillars, is because of how competitive the market has become. You always need to rise above and be just a little bit more different while being as effective out there as the other competitors out there. So let's go straight into the outreach methods, right? So I used three when I was signing my first client. So I used cold calling, Facebook groups, and ads. So a little bit more about the background, right? So when I was 15, I didn't have a lot of money, right? Nobody had a lot of money when they were 15. For me, okay, I did have a little bit of money. I had maybe $1,000 in the bank account. And the way I had this was because I go to school and I did pretty well in school, and because of that, the government would usually give monetary rewards for doing well. So there were $250 awards, $500 awards, and over time, I'd accumulated roughly about $1,000 in awards, which was just in my bank account, just sitting there. So I thought it's time to make use of what I have to kind of leverage me on top because I have the advantage of time. So let me also have a little bit more advantage in terms of the monetary aspect. So that's what I did. And it was very beneficial. So the first method that I used was cold calling, right? So the cold calling, I have a very detailed script, which I'll showcase to you in the next video. But this cold calling was basically a very efficient use of my time because the way it works is I live in Singapore where the time zone is a little bit more different compared to these Western countries, right? So usually I'd always call in these Western countries like Canada or whatever. So at that time, for me to reach them in the morning, I just had to call at night at like 9 p.m. And that really worked for me because I could do all my schoolwork and then I'd call at 9 p.m. So the way I cold called was very simple. I have a script which I'll talk about in the next video, but in this cold calling, I'm just going to talk about two ways you can get past the gatekeeper, which was my biggest problem. So the first way is if you know the name of the business owner. So imagine the name of the business owner is Josh, right? So you can be like, hey, is Josh there? And then if the person says, the receptionist or the gatekeeper says, yeah, Josh is there, but who is this? Just say, um, yeah, Josh knows who I am. Just say that. When you say Josh knows who I am, you put the gatekeeper in a position where if they don't direct the call, they're going to get screwed up. They will, because their job is to filter out. And if someone literally tells them that Josh knows who I am, and Josh realizes that that person didn't get through, it's going to be a problem for them. So obviously, here the moment they want to keep it as simple as possible for them, they're going to let you in. And if you don't know the business owner's name, I have another method also on hand, right? All you have to do is say, hey, is this the business owner? If they say, no, this is not, but what is this regarding? Just say, so I've been doing a lot of research about this particular niche. Obviously, don't say particular niche, say whatever niche that you're talking about. And there's a really important thing I want to talk to the business owner, and I really think he will appreciate this. So if you say it like that, you kind of put them in a position where, oh no, if the business owner realizes that I didn't pass on this form of value, I will probably get fired. So they want to protect their job and they're going to let you through. That's what happened to me many, many, many times. That's how I always got past the gatekeeper. And from then on, use the script that I'm going to talk about in the next video. It's going to literally revolutionize your outreach methods. So now let's go to Facebook groups. Facebook groups were amazing because I could do this anytime when I was in school, right? So Facebook groups is basically, I would get a message, a quick message, which I'll also talk about in my next video, very, very quick message about how I can get them X amount of clients using Y service. And I'd craft it in a method where I'm not selling them anything by saying that, hey, I'm gonna work with one of these particular people in the niche, while the rest of you guys get a free case study. So let me give you an example, right? So what I did was I created a small video about how you can get clients from A to Z. Small little video, literally like 5 minutes, and it detailed everything. And in the end, it was basically selling my service, right? So how I did this was in these Facebook group chats, I would characterize myself to be someone who wouldn't sell anything. So I'd be like, hey guys, I've heard that it's been a big problem for some of you guys to get highly qualified and targeted clients. But so after a lot of different people contacting me, I've decided to help one more life coach, for example, in their client acquisition process. But don't worry, if you guys aren't one of them, I also give you a free case study, completely free, no gimmicks, no risks, whatever, and you can be able to sign whatever clients that you want. I'm not trying to sell anything, just trying to give you guys value. And I give them a really nice emoji at the end. And they'd be like, yeah, please give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. I send it out to them. And then I get like a 15% churn, and it's crazy because when I send it out to like 100 or like 100 and I have like a 15% to 20% churn, that's a lot of clients right there. A lot of book meetings, highly targeted, qualified book meetings, which is great. And finally, ads. And ads was the one that I'm using currently and is the one giving me the most amount of clients. But the turn off for ads is it's expensive. You can't be expecting to put in a budget, a daily budget of $5. It's not going to work. Okay, you got to have a little bit more money on your hand. But the way I like to think of it is always a return on investment or a ROAS, right? It always is. Because if you're selling a service and you're confident in selling a service for, let's say, $1,500 per month USD, right? You can theoretically put out ads for 50 to $100 per day. You can. But I understand the mental block in doing this because people don't want to lose their hard-earned money without even knowing whether or not they can achieve whatever that they're talking about, right? Whatever they're thinking about, they don't know whether they can achieve the goals or like getting their first client. So they feel a little bit skeptical when it comes to investing in ads. And this is completely normal. So that's why I always tell people to start off with cold calling Facebook groups, get your first client, and then completely switch to ads and use the generation of revenue from these first few clients or first client even like if you have a $1,500 client and you're licensing them every single month for like $100, $200, use the rest for ads. It'll literally revolutionize your business. So literally, when I signed my first client, I remember so it was for 1,200 USD. I was making roughly about 700 in profit every single month from them. I'd put in my ads for roughly, I'd run these ads for roughly about 2 weeks, and I'd put in roughly about 30 to $35 per day, starting off with a high budget, going off to low budget, targeting these ads more. And if you want a detailed video of how I run these ads or create these ads and create the copywriting for these ads, let me know and I'll get it ready for you guys. So yeah, so all you have to do is just use cold calling, Facebook groups, and ads. And finally, the last part that I talked about here is a very important thing. It's about always using a niche exclusive method because you got to understand that when you're targeting clients, every niche is different because every niche has different ways that you can get these clients. So sometimes some niches cold calling wouldn't be beneficial, but some other niches cold calling may be beneficial, right? For example, if you're looking at, I mean, from personal experience, I felt that for solar clients, cold calling was pretty good. I have no clue why, but it works. So really the only way for you to understand whether this is a niche exclusive method is to go out there and do the testing and find out which method works and do the targeting and do the recording down of the results. That's very important. Record down the results to see whether you need to optimize something, change something, and then you'll be really able to maximize your outreach, right? And finally, I don't know whether you guys are going to watch the previous video, but this is very important. Stop overthinking. What I mean by stop overthinking is stick to a method for at least 2 weeks and be consistent with it. Be consistent and hit high volume with very, very good copywriting. And these things take time, it takes time for you understand. And if you cut down on your outreach method and you keep switching your outreach method and niche hopping, right, it's going to be really bad because you're not going to have enough of a sample size to evaluate whether this method works. So just keep it out for 2 weeks. This is a process, and if you're someone like me, starting off at an early age, right, you have just a little bit of money. If you don't have money, just sell something in your house that you don't need and you'll be able to get a little bit of money. But if you're like me, if you're young, you have the advantage of time. So stick with something 1 to 2 weeks. If it's not getting you a good churn rate relative to your hypothesis, then you may be wanting to change what you're doing or optimize the already used outreach method. So I really hope this video helped you guys. So these are the three things that have helped me. Nothing else has helped me. Cold email has not helped me at all. SMS has not helped me. Nothing. SMS is way too expensive, but whatever. Cold calling, Facebook groups, ads, these are what have really, really helped me. And if you want a video about how I'm doing outreach right now in my agency making six figures, I'll also make a video about that. So just leave it down in the comments. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next time. Peace.